Hey everybody, we are hours away from night 2 of Wrestle Kingdom 14, but it's time to look back and take a look at night 1 of Wrestle Kingdom 14. This is NITRO'S Take here on Nitromaniac TV's Wrestling Unlimited. I am Kellen Nitro, your most humble of hosts, coming at you live from Nitromaniac HQ. And yeah, I stayed up late and watched it live on the live stream on New Japan World. Last night was January 4, 2020, but it was kind of borderline on an evening, early morning of the 3rd and the 4th, 2020, from the Tokyo Dome in Tokyo, Japan. And this is a very exciting event for me. I always get jacked for this event just because of the unique nature of it. And they've just made it more unique this year with going 2 nights. And then, of course, on top of it all, we got New Year's Dash coming up Sunday going into Monday. So wrestling overload this weekend in the New Japan variety, but it's a good thing for sure. So here's a look back at night 1, and then I'll have a couple of predictions of I can finally make a prediction on the double gold match, the main event night number 2, and the kind of the losers bracket slash I think it's an implied number 1 contendership match with the 2 losers from last night in the Intercontinental and IWGP Championship match. That should be a fun one as well. But anyway, enough with the rambling. Here is my take on Wrestle Kingdom 14, Night 1, January 4th, 2020. Opening contest of the card was that Stardom special match that happened during the pre-show with Iwatani and Hoshihiki taking on Kimura and Guelia. Guelia and Kimura had Jungle Keona and Konami in their corner. Unfortunately, we did not get a chance to see this thing on New Japan World. Instead, they showed us more highlights of the press conference of the main card and some of the big matches and that stuff, and all their pre-showy type stuff. So we missed about maybe about 15 or 20 minutes of actual in-ring action, and then immediately a cold cut right to the second match of the pre-show, which was the Young Lions 8-man tag. So yeah, kind of choked that we didn't get a chance to see this. I understand the rights, though. It was posted on Twitter. It was because of television rights and that stuff. That New Japan World and TVSI couldn't show that. Apparently that was shown for Stardom's broadcast and their on-demand service and that stuff and everything. So hopefully somebody puts it up on YouTube or something a little bit later on and I get a chance to check that out. But yeah, missed that one. But the first match that I did see and that we started off the live stream with was the LA Dojo Young Lions taking on the New Japan Young Lions. Kind of a mixture with that team, with the team of Great Bash Heel, Makabe and Honma, and Yota Tsuji and Yuya Yamera taking on Hanare, Carl Fredericks, Clark Connors, and Alex Coughlin from the LA Dojo. And this was a hard-hitting affair. I really did enjoy this one, too. I noticed that, oh, cool, all the fans ringside got take-home chairs tonight, too, much like you do at WrestleMania or Rumble or any WWE show, or AEW show, for that matter now. Kind of cool. That's kind of a little bit of, may make me want to go to that one of these days, just because of that fact. So we'll wait and see. Anyway, one of the highlights of that match was the Super Mario elbow from Carl Fredericks. That was incredible. Honma gets a close 2 count, of course, with the Kokeshi headbutt. That got a big pop in the crowd. But Hanare gets the pinfall. All 8-man showcase nicely. That's what an 8-man tag is supposed to do. New Japan is the best at that, and we've talked about this on the channel so many times before. It's ad nauseum now, but there you go. Then we had what was affectionately called the Dad's Tag, or just basically New Japan legends from the late 90s and early 2000s getting in there and doing the thing. The team of TenCozy of Hiroshi Tenzan and Satoshi Kojima taking on Yuji Nagata and Manabu Nakanishi. That match, the runtime for that one was 5:47. The previous 2 matches, the 8-man tag, it had a runtime of 7:36, and the Stardom special match had a runtime of 9:04, if you're keeping track. I got it written down here. Nakanishi is hard as fuck. Stiff, dude. Yeah, this is just real stiff, strong style from all 4 of these guys. Just really making everything count and laying it in there. Yeah, it was incredible. Tenzan got a near pinfall with a brain buster. Kojima dove with a pinfall on Nakanishi with a nice cozy lariat out of nowhere. And Bread Club is celebrating right now in Japan because Kojima, he got it done. So TenCozy gets the win in that one. And they're still an active tag team, so it might be a big 2020 for those boys. We'll see. Then we finally get into the main card, and our opener was Liger, the final match 1. So the final 2 matches of Jushin Thunder Liger's career end up at the Tokyo Dome on night 1 on January 4th. It is an incredible, legendary 8-man tag. Here were the names: Naoki Sano, Shinjiro Otani, Tatsuhito Takiwa, and Ryusuke Taguchi, with Kuniaki Kobayashi taking on, of course, Liger, the Dragon Fujinami, Sasuke, and Tiger Mask with El Samurai. Man, here are the notes from this one, and I got a lot of them. It was great. This was just fun just to see all the legends in this one. Tiger Mask is iconic. I love the theme music for Tiger Mask. Great Sasuke walking out with one of the coolest masks I think I've ever seen a luchador or anybody, sport in pro wrestling ever. It was kind of half his design, and then the other half had like Liger's design on it. That was incredible. It was cool. And then the horns kind of detached for the match, so it became like Sasuke's mask, but it was a half and half thing. Go Google it if you have a chance. It is that'll sell some merch. That'll move some merch, believe me. Liger and Sano kicked things off, and Sano, at his age, hits a suicide dive. It's like watching the Best of Super Juniors tapes again. I'm back tape trading. It's crazy. Make sure you rewind this tape before you send it off to the next guy, It's just one of those things, right? It's courtesy. So Taguchi got the pin after just an incredible schmoz sequence where everybody was just doing hitting all of the finishers and all of the moves and everything. It was incredible. Fujinami with a Dragon Sleeper got a nice pop, always does. His entrance robe was pretty cool too. It was kind of a one-off where it had the dragon and it had Liger kind of face to face with their kind of animal totems, if you will, on the back of his just his robe and everything, and that was sick. That was really cool. So incredible respect at the end of the match shown by everyone for Liger. So the winning side, of course, was Sano, Otani, Takiwa, and Taguchi. That match ran 8:52, and rumor has it, and this was just broken over the past few days or so, and we'll have to wait to remain and be seen. Of course, he has to wrap up with this weekend first, and then we'll see it. WWE Hall of Fame bound for Liger this April. He might get one of the spots in Tampa, so we'll have to wait and see what ends up coming off of that. But if that's the case, that's actually a Hall of Fame induction that I really agree with, because dude was pretty influential here in the States with WCW with his short runs over there. And then, of course, they brought him in for a NXT TakeOver match a few years ago with Tyler Breeze. That was one of the both most hilarious and one of the better matches of 2015, all in one, off of that, because that was such an iconic year for NXT and that stuff. But anyways, Liger now advances to his final match later tonight, the tag match with Sano taking on essentially Dragon Lee, Ryu Lee, and Hiromu Takahashi, who we'll find out later on in this review how he did against Will Osprey. So stay tuned for that, or fast forward to it. Either way, it doesn't matter. It gets me views. I'm happy. The 8-man tags continue with the next match, where we have LIJ versus Suzuki-Gun. Here were the contestants in this thing. Zack Sabre Jr., Minoru Suzuki, Taichi, and El Desperado. As part of Suzuki-Gun taking on LIJ's foursome of Sonata, Evo, Shingo Takagi, and Bushi. This match ran 8:39, and the Suzuki-Gun side got the win in that one. Here are my notes. All the respect in the previous encounter, throw it out the window. These two factions hate each other. Oh yeah, there's big beef between these two factions. It was surprising to see Suzuki-Gun walk out to Zack Sabre Jr.'s music. I thought for sure for Wrestle Kingdom they would have another remix of Suzuki's music or something or whatever, right? But to see Then walk out with Zack Sabre Jr.'s music. Well, he is the British Heavyweight Champion going into tonight, so we'll wait and see what happens off of that. But yeah, it was very interesting, very cool to see that. Suzuki taking it to Evil early in the match. The brutal chair shot on the outside to Evil from Suzuki. Sonata and Sabre Jr. were offering a preview of what to expect tomorrow, i.e. later tonight. That match later tonight could be a possible show stealer for the British Heavyweight Championship. There's going to be a lot of amateur-esque, a lot of British World of Sports style wrestling, because Sonata can hang with that crowd, and they proved it a little bit in like a little 2 or 3 minute chunk in that 8-man last night. So we'll have to wait and see what happens off of that. Zack Sabre Jr. gets the submission win over Bushi, and of course this war isn't over because they spilled out to the outside and kind of had to be separated afterwards. Again, runtime on that one, 8:39, and yeah, it again accomplished what it needs to accomplish. Sets up everything for tomorrow. Another 8-man tag with 2 factions that absolutely hate each other. A classic rivalry here with Chaos versus the Bullet Club. Representing the Chaos side, it was Hiroki Goto, Tomohiro Ishii, Toru Yano, and Yoshihashi taking on the Bullet Club foursome of Kenta, Bad Luck Fale, Yujiro Takahashi, and Chase Owens with Peter at ringside. And man, Peter just looked fantastic in that outfit. Wow, Shaw Wing, as Wayne and Garth would say back in the day. But Kenta, man, he looks refocused, and that's awesome to see. I remember I shared the story earlier of him in Phoenix, and he looked like a broken guy after Rumble weekend last year, and after that last 205 Live match. And it was awesome to see him finally get a chance to get back over to Japan, sign with New Japan, and then immediately be thrust into this this heel role where he's kind of like an up-and-coming ace in Bullet Club, and he's got the credibility to be there, right? So it's awesome to see him there for sure. He's one of my favorite Bullet Club members right now at this point. There was an awesome stare down between Hiroki Goto and Kenta. Of course, they're going for the Never Openweight Championship later tonight. A couple of members of Japan's World Cup rugby team ended up at ringside. I didn't catch the names, but they were sporting some brand new merch, those really nifty Bullet Club tracksuits, potentially making its way to a hot topic near you in the near future. Who knows if they're not already there. Great preview exchange between Hiroki Goto and Kenta for tomorrow. And Goto gave, later on in the match, Hiroki Goto gives Bad Luck Fale a brainbuster. That was an oh my god type moment. He got him up for that. And Goto gets the free count off of the GTR right in front of Kenta on Yujiro Takahashi. Statement made. Wow, jaw dropper for sure as Chaos gets the win. That match, 8 minutes and 17 seconds, and it sets up everything beautifully for tonight. IWGP Tag Team titles were up next. We're the team of FinJuice, David Finlay and Juice Robinson taking on the Gorillas of Destiny, Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa with Jado in their corner. This match ran 13:25, and here are my thoughts on that one. Robinson and Finlay walking out with kind of a rockers vibe with the FinJuice's attire there a little bit. Somebody else online, credit to one of my followers, Tanis, I believe her name is. She mentioned that it was kind of a mix between the rockers attire of the early 90s and the Fashion Police attire right now in NXT. So I'd have to agree. It was kind of a 50-50 split for sure. Match started hot. Huge backdrop on the ramp by Tama on Juice. Finlay looked great in this match. G.O.D. though working on Finlay's shoulder. That was the storyline throughout the entire match. He's trying to exploit that injury. But FinJuice fired back, and all of a sudden towards the end of the match you get the feeling, well, holy crap, they could actually do this. And then acid drop by Finlay on, I believe it was Tonga in the ring, and gets the 1-2-3 for the IWGP World Tag Team Championship. New champs, and Juice Robinson gets one half of the double. He could walk out of Wrestle Kingdom weekend a double champion if he was to beat the winner of the US Texas Death Match later on tonight between Moxley and Archer. later tonight, and that's actually our next match, so we'll go take a look at this. But they were pumping juice hard on the broadcast for sure. It was, again, runtime of 13:25. And yeah, up next, the Texas Death Match for the IWGP US Championship. The champion Lance Archer taking on Jon Moxley. And I think I mentioned here a couple of interesting things in the entrance. Mox with a brand new color scheme here, black and green with a green spray painted Mox on the back instead of the usual black and like neon orange that he used. So looks like he's changing up the colors a little bit here in early 2020. Archer looks scary as hell walking down the ringside. I got something else written there, but I dropped an F-bomb earlier, and it's New Japan. So Archer looks scary as fuck walking down to ringside here. I think I mentioned on Twitter that 2019-2020 Lance Archer would kick the shit out of 2005 Lance Hoyt. You know, the TNA almost, I don't want to say job guy, but he was just kind of supplemental talent for them back then. He's really evolved into this almost Bruiser Brody-esque psycho cowboy character. Almost. Now I want to kind of see him fight James Storm. You know, hey, NWA, make it happen if that's the case. But man, that would be a dream match for sure in 2020. An absolutely brutal encounter. Archer tries to go old school. Yes, he tried the Undertaker's old school rope walk, i.e. Undertaker spoiler, whatever your vintage is. But Mox starts rocking on the ropes there and grabbed Archer and knocked him off. That was a great spot. But then as they brawled to the outside there, a choke slam on the apron by Archer. I preferred this match as opposed to Moxley and Omega. The crazy lights out match that they had at Full Gear on the AEW side of things back in November, as this had a real element of sports entertainment hardcore to it. Not so much a CZW deathmatch type style to it. This had more of a big league, if you will, WWE, WCW style hardcore element to it. Then I have written down here, this is like watching Austin and Kane back in 1998 in Hell in a Cell. Yeah, it is. It's, Austin, Moxley here being a smaller guy, being Austin in this match, trying to take it to the larger guy, the larger monster, Archer, i.e. Kane. So this was an amazing end to this match as Mox hit the paradigm shift, aka Death Rider, through the tables, and Archer can't answer the 10 count on the outside from the ring apron, which was just an eye-opener. 14:26 for the time in that match, and we set up the match for night 2, and it is the rematch that everybody wanted to see. Robinson and Moxley go one-on-one. Night 2, no tsunamis, no delay, no AEW, no whatever. It's going to be Moxley, and it's going to be Robinson for the US Championship on night 2. Does Moxley have anything left, or will Robinson take it to him, or is this just the start of another title reign for Jon Moxley? Maybe he's going to be the ultimate freelancer this year and kind of jump between promotions. Wait and see later tonight. Then came my pick for match of the night and a potential early contender for match of the year, where we had Hiromu Takahashi taking on Will Osprey in a singles match for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship. Runtime on that one was 24:33. My notes on that one: this was a classic back and forth match between the two of them. There was a brutal double stomp early on by Osprey on Takahashi on the outside, then a drop kick to the back of Hiromu's head. They're really working the neck of Takahashi here and trying to tell the story that, okay, is his neck back 100%? Is it ready to go? Osprey attempts the same kick to the back of the head that hospitalized Ibushi late last year. Or not late last year, but early last year, Wrestle Kingdom last year, Wrestle Kingdom 13, but Hiromu just collapses and misses it, so great sell on that one. But after a flurry of offensive moves by Osprey, he only gets a 2 with the Oz Cutter, and then Takahashi hits a brutal Canadian Destroyer for 2. This is a great emotional ride. This match was back and forth. If you haven't had a chance to watch it, please do go watch it. He finally nails that brutal spinning back elbow on Takahashi, the same move that put Ibushi out last year, only for Hiromu to counter with a Yoshi tonic, but then only a 2 when Hiromu hits his finisher, the time bomb. He's kind of wondering what to do, and then all of a sudden the light goes on. They mentioned earlier in the match that he had been training in Mexico during his rehab and maybe learning a couple of new moves and such, and he busted out one for the finish in this match, and it's kind of like a almost like almost a backdrop driver type thing, except it's a side mount and he lowers down. It's wild. I'm sure we'll get a name for it here sooner rather than later, but when he hits that, brand new finisher, 1, 2, 3, return complete, brand new champion. Hiromu Takahashi will bring the IWGP Junior Heavyweight title into his match, tagging with Dragon Lee, Ryu Lee, against Liger and Sano later tonight for Liger's farewell match at Wrestle Kingdom 14 Night 2. Then we started getting ready for Double Gold, and the IC title was up next with Tetsuya Naito versus Jay White. Kevin Kelly was using a ton of baseball references with Naito on the broadcast. Says it's bottom of the ninth, 2 out, bases loaded. Naito's got to hit a home run here to get some points. Some talk too of Naito possibly retiring if he didn't beat Jay White here. I didn't get that impression, but if that's the scuttlebutt that's been going around in Japan and that stuff, and that's something that's been quote unquote furthering the storyline and that stuff, then I'm all for it. Match isn't even a minute old, and Gato attempts to interfere on behalf of Jay White. But Naito immediately grabs Gato by the beard and threatens him, pretty much tells him along the lines like, don't even, not tonight. Gets into White's head early. I have down mind games, of course. Naito is kind of a master of that type of stuff. He loves the details in things, so... Gato blasts Naito's knee though later on with a chair, as White had a figure 4 with Naito wrapped around the ring post. Naito had an existing knee injury that he's just coming back from, and Gato just blasts Naito's knee with the chair, and seems like that will be the storyline going forward, and indeed it was. A great story told where it seemed like that Naito is adept at reaching and doing, that White would quell it, and Naito's knee is basically his Achilles in this match. White basically dumps Naito to the outside with a Saito suplex, that was a brutal bump is for sure, but Naito fights back. Towards the end of the match, a couple Blade Runner attempts didn't work for White, where Naito fought out of them. And then Naito hits a Destino, the crowd pops, everybody thinks it's over, 1, 2, and then White kicks out of the Destino. Jaw-dropping, I know, it's like nobody kicks out of Destino, what the hell? Well, it took 2 Destinos and a failed Blade Runner attempt for a free count on White by Naito, new Intercontinental Champion after an amazing contest, and Naito advances to the Double Gold finale later on tonight for Night 2 at Wrestle Kingdom, and man, it's going to be fun to see him in that main event spotlight once again. And of course, Jay White goes for the losers. It's tough calling it the losers bracket, but that's how I have it labeled. Goes for the losers bracket number 1 contendership contest. I have it listed as a number 1 contendership. It is what it is, even though it's not announced as such. Guaranteed, the winner of this match tonight on Night 2 will probably be, if not first in line for an IWGP heavyweight title shot. I would think that they would be, probably one of the contenders we see later on down the line in 2020 that gets a shot at whoever the Double Gold champion is coming out of Wrestle Kingdom. So the main event was up next, where we had the second half of the Double Gold qualifiers and the IWGP heavyweight title defense on Night 1. Kota Ibushi, the challenger, and the G1 champion, taking on Kazuchika Okada, of course, the all-decade IWGP heavyweight champion. And I have no I have no filter in saying that at all. I think the guy is synonymous with that belt for the 2010s. I think he's the guy that you look at when you're talking about the IWGP belt, is Okada. Ibushi kind of showing a darker side lately, and they showed it in the video package. Not a heel side per se, but more focused than anything else. The attendance for night 1, by the way, Kevin Kelly mentions 40,008. So to you 8 people who snuck in last minute, congrats. You knocked it over 40,000. But, hopefully you got seats and not standing room. No, even standing room for this card would have been fun too. So, early Rainmaker attempt thwarted by Ibushi. I have fuck off with those kicks, Ibushi. Yikes. Yeah, those kicks are kind of brutal that he does. Not gonna lie. Just froze him in there. And that's something that he picked up from Kenny, I think, a little bit, because Omega's kicks are stiff as all hell as well. In his matches too. So match kind of follows this formula though. Okada offense for a bit, and then Ibushi hits a big move, but then Okada either kicks out of a 2 count or reaches the ropes on a submission or something, and then more Okada offense. So I don't know. It just seemed in this one that Ibushi just felt like he was one step behind Okada throughout this entire match. And I think that's what they were trying to convey here. Okada hit an amazing flying cross body on the outside, so taking a page out of Ibushi's book. And then how many Rainmakers to seal the victory for Okada at the end? There was like a billion of them. These two did not disappoint. But at the 39-16 mark, yes, the match went 39-16. By the way, the IWGP Intercontinental title match before with Naito and White went 33-54. And the junior heavyweight match with Takahashi and Osprey went 24-33, but this one ran 39-16. So at the 39-16 mark, Okada gets the pinfall, 1-2-3, and sets it up. So later on tonight, here are the 2 matches that we'll see, and here are my predictions on these 2 matches. In the quote-unquote losers bracket, number 1 contendership, whatever you want to call it, Jay White taking on Kota Ibushi. I think that Ibushi will rebound and beat White later tonight. I think that this will set up something maybe for Dominion in June or something that they can build towards, where Ibushi finally gets a crack at that title once again and maybe finally breaks through. But yeah, I don't see White beating Ibushi there at all. As for the double gold, who's walking out with both belts, it's got to be Naito. I think Okada I think this will be a real, all the numbers are adding up for Naito for tonight. The last couple times he's main evented, he's lost, and that's how many times can you main event this thing and not win? So I think tonight he's going to walk out with both belts. It's the storyline. It's been his destiny. It was his idea to have the double gold concept that was mentioned maybe, a year or two ago, post Wrestle Kingdom for this thing, and we'll have to wait and see what happens. And of course, this is all bolstered by the weirdness, of course, of the potential AEW Championship contendership match between Jericho and Tanahashi, and Kenta and Goto for the Never Openweight belt, and a whole bunch of stuff. We got the gauntlet tonight for the Never Openweight 6-mans, and so on and so forth. So still a lot of action to come here later tonight at Wrestle Kingdom 14, and that runs, I think the start time is about 10 o'clock Mountain, my time, so it might be 9 o'clock Pacific or something, but it's a little earlier than it was last night, so it'll be more conducive for sleep patterns, which is great. So but post-match, Naito came down ringside, goes face-to-face with Okada, says it's one more time. And then I have this all written down here too. Just ran through this. Forgot to mention as well, Juice and Moxley for the US belt. And then, like I said, the Tanahashi Jericho for the AEW title opportunity, or just a challenge match for Tanahashi. If Tanahashi beats Jericho, then he's in line for an AEW title shot in the new year. If Jericho beats Tanahashi, then of course that flows out the window, so we'll see what happens. Are there members of the Inner Circle in Tokyo? Are they going to be on this card? like say like a Jake Hager or something like that. Who knows? Or is Jericho going at it alone here? This will be interesting for sure. Match of the night I have for night one, of course, Osprey and Takahashi for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight title. My rating on night one of Wrestle Kingdom 14 is a 7.5 out of 10. I thought it was great. I thought that the matches were awesome. I really liked, like I said, the 8-man tag to kick things off. I was choked that the Stardom match wasn't included on the live stream, so that kind of deducts some points for me a little bit off of that. These guys were getting after it. They moved the card along very good. But yeah, it's once you get past, and I thought there was a little too much 8-man tag action to set things up here a little bit. I think that that it was just trying to include everybody on the card that means something, but of course they're building up for night 2 tomorrow. So I think that, you know, just running that gauntlet of 8-man tags is something that you could have potentially done in your lead-up shows in December with better effect, and then this space would have been used for something else. But if you got 2 nights of wrestling to fill, it's kind of hard to do. So 7.5 out of 10. I thought that basically everything from the tag title match on the second half of the card is a dynamite 10 out of 10. It clicked all of the boxes for me. The second half of the card is just the first half was kind of draggy a little bit and that stuff after the retirement match, just due to the fact that we kept seeing the same type of match over and over again. So anyways, I will be back after night 2 to give my opinion and comments on night 2 of Wrestle Kingdom. Thank you very much for watching. If you stayed for this entire video, I'm Kellen Nitro. Later days, happy wrestling watching, and we'll catch you all later on. Follow me on Twitter tonight at Kellen Nitro, and I'll be kind of live tweeting a little bit. I had a little bit going on too during the show last night, and thanks to everybody who partook in that and that stuff. But all right, folks, see you later. Take her easy. Talk to you next time.